ISIS is back, not because the Kurds failed, but because the world is watching Kurds get crushed and calling it stability. Let me say this clearly. The Kurdish forces in Syria, the SDF, were the boots on the ground that helped destroy ISIS. They fought street by street, they buried their sons and daughters by the thousands, and they protected the world from one of the most dangerous terrorist movements of our time. And now, after all that, they are being handed over. These militias, these same militias attacking Kurds under the name of Syrian Arab Army, are at best ISIS sympathizers and at worst ISIS members themselves. You want evidence? We have it. For example, this is a coverage by Al Jazeera, which is a channel publicly supporting the atrocities of the Syrian army. ISIS emblem is seen on the shoulders, on the arm of the fighters affiliated with Damascus. What is happening on the ground isn't just an order, it's humiliation, oppression, and it's ethnic cleansing. Whenever they take over a city, they behead Kurdish men and women. They lay Kurdish people on the floor and call them pigs. They beat Kurdish children to death. These Syrian militias are capturing Kurdish girls and on camera present them as gifts to their sheikhs.
أبو مجاهد شرفانو يا أبو مجاهد هاي أحلى هدية لك.
And we have more footage. Militias grabbing Kurdish girls by their hair, the same girls who fought for everyone's freedom and safety in Syria. The Kurds made withdrawals in good faith on United States' request to avoid a wider war, but the push didn't stop. They attacked all the other north and eastern cities occupied by Kurds. And while Kurds are under fire, the most dangerous thing imaginable is happening. ISIS detainees are getting freed. Fox News says here, roughly 200 ISIS detainees were broken out from Shaddadi prison during this chaos. Reuters also reported the SDF said it pleaded for help and the US-led coalition did not intervene. So understand what this means. When you weaken the people guarding ISIS, you don't get peace, you get ISIS again. Syrian militias have also taken control of Al-Aqtan prison in Raqqa, a facility holding thousands of ISIS detainees. And after years and years of Kurds carrying the burden of guarding ISIS detention sites and camps, shielding the rest of the world from them while they're at it, the world is now watching it all unravel. Look at Al-Hol camp, which holds around 40,000 people, mostly women and children, linked to ISIS. The SDF has carried this burden since ISIS territorial defeat in 2019. But today, SDF had to leave it due to the continuous attacks by Syrian army militias and the US's deafening silence to their call for help. Let me show you the footage of ISIS women detainees being released by the Syrian militias. And with territory falling, prisons shaking, and the Daesh breathing again, the Syrian and Turkish-backed militias are now closing in on Hasaka and Kobani, the only two cities that remain under Kurdish control. Kobani, the city that became the symbol of resistance and sacrifice against ISIS. They tried to take over then, they're trying again now. Thankfully, prominent American voices are reacting. Mark Levin shared one of these videos of the atrocities and wrote, "This is the reality of what's now taking place in Syria. Time to put sanctions back on this damnable regime and stop fooling ourselves." Sarah Adams said, "This is what we did to the women who fought ISIS for us. We let them to be slaughtered. No one is coming to save you either." And Farhad Shami, head of the SDF Media Center, called out to the world and said, "Today, the SDF and the Kurdish people face acts of genocide. Stand up, speak out, and do not forget our sacrifices." Even in Washington, where silence is deadly, Senator Lindsey Graham with this post, warned loudly. He said, "You cannot unite Syria by the use of military force," and said Congress should hold hearings and briefings, adding the SDF were the boots on the ground when Trump destroyed ISIS in his first term. "We owe them better." This is what he said. This new so-called Syrian army has not come into existence with a clean slate. We should all know this. The man now being treated like a statesman, Ahmad al-Shara, had a past so extreme that this is a social media post by the US Embassy in Syria putting a multi-million-dollar bounty on his head. You don't go from wanted extremist to international partner overnight, obviously, as you can see. And while all this happens, what Turkey wants is crystal clear. They're against every form of Kurdish self-governance. I ask the world, how do you put the fate of millions of Kurds in the hands of the same people who have spent years trying to erase Kurds, crush Kurdish rights, and treat Kurdish existence as a security threat? And now I want to speak directly to America. Kurds did not fight ISIS only for themselves. Kurds fought alongside the United States and the coalition as the core partner force on the ground. Kurds helped capture and detain thousands of ISIS fighters who were a threat to your national security. For years, American troops operated alongside Kurdish forces, and Kurds did not turn on their American partners. Kurds were allies, consistent allies, in a region where being allied with the US comes with very serious consequences. So we ask President Donald Trump, Congress, Europe, the UN, and every government that claims to see ISIS as a threat. If you weaken the Kurdish forces, if you let prisons collapse, if you let ISIS families and fighters spill back onto the streets, you are not ending a conflict. You are opening a new global chapter of terror. This is what Kurds demand from you. 1. Immediate international protection for Kurdish civilians in northeast Syria. 2. A protected, monitored international system for ISIS prisons and camps. 3. A real political solution. Decentralization with guarantees, because centralized Syria has only ever meant one thing for Kurds: denial, oppression, and death. Arabs have 22 countries, states, armies, and big media empires. Yet they mobilize all of it, militias and channels like Al Jazeera, Al Hadaf, and Al Arabiya, to deny Kurds living peacefully in just 2 cities. That's why we have always said this with pain. Kurds have no friends but the mountains. But mountains, as you know, can't stop drones. Mountains can't secure prisons. Mountains can't protect children, and mountains can't protect our captive girls. The world must act now.